Hey guys, join us in our first Whistle to Whistle podcast contest.
Test one. Please tell me more about it.
Yeah, we're doing a contest, John. Join with the link below. It's also on Facebook right now. Uh, challenge John and I in the ESPN college football playoff bracket. So rules are very simple. There are no rules. No, I'm joking. One rule: make sure you follow the podcast and fill out your bracket before games start. John, I'm sure you're wondering if there's a prize, and there is. Winner receives a limited edition Whistle to Whistle podcast prize. So be sure to get your brackets in. Max 2 per entry, and beat John and I and win a prize.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. I'm excited for this.
Oh, we're just going.
There you go.
There we go. Welcome back. Episode 7, Whistle Whistle Podcast. John here, and again another different setup. John, we're trying it all. We're gonna hit it big somehow.
Yeah, we're gonna pay off the people to make it big, right?
Yeah, do something here. So we have 2 guests this time. We're stepping up big time. John, you know them a little better than I do, so why don't you take this?
Yeah. So as we talked about in the last episode, this is Taylor, and then you got Leah, that is her wonderful wife. She's obviously the better version of her, but that's beside the point. But
It's always how it
uh,
goes.
I mean, most wives are. So
Yeah, especially if you have somebody from Manchester. Usually,
Yeah.
I deal with it all the
well,
time.
So yeah, but yeah, these are the wonderful Eastern Michigan University hockey coaches. Taylor claims to be the head coach, but we really, they're probably, it's more of a team effort, I would assume.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah, it's awesome. So, if you guys just want to introduce yourselves, whatever you guys want to, any background, anything, then we'll dive into some questions we got.
Yep. I'm Taylor Costello. We started Eastern probably really off of our own desire to create a better women's hockey program in Michigan, because we didn't have a lot of opportunities growing up to play a really competitive program here in the state, and go to a school that you really like. So it was something that was really important to Leah and I to do so. And pretty much right after I graduated from there, I just said, all right, let's do it. And we kind of hit the ground running. It was a little scary at first, a little not sure what we're actually doing and kind of flying by the seat of our pants, but it was a lot of fun. And we've grown up playing hockey together. So it was really easy for us to just kind of, know what we want to get out of it for the girls and create a better environment. So it's been a lot of fun.
Yes, I'm Leah. Yeah, I grew up downriver, so grew up in Michigan my whole life. Played at a variety of levels throughout travel hockey. Had some ups and downs. Had some times I almost quit, things like that. So one of the biggest drivers for making this team and making the environment that we chose to, that led a lot of it in helping girls find love for the game again if they've fallen out of it like I did. And just, creating better opportunities, more opportunities. The bigger the game is, the more opportunities there is. And there's even been teams reach out to us. Hey, I saw you guys started a program. You guys had a quick turnaround. Can you help us out? So that's also a big thing that we really want. The bigger we can make us known, the bigger other people will be able to grow the game as well.
yeah, that's for sure. I think that's amazing that you guys started something to help other people in something in your position, and you get to make something out of it. And I'm sure you have loved every second of it. And we will definitely dive deep into that part. But what was the first thing you could think of that made you fall in love with the sport? What was, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Honestly, I think it was just being able to go on the ice and forget everything else. It was nothing else mattered. When you stepped foot on the ice, it kind of became silent in your mind in the best way possible. And just stepping out there and being able to share that love with everybody else and have fun while you did it. That was probably the best part of learning to play hockey.
I was born into it. I was 3 when I started. My dad played. Both of my older brothers played. I followed in their footsteps, and to be honest, I don't know a life without it. I was probably around, I think I was in like 3rd grade. And where I was playing at the time, I was playing at just my local house, little civic arena. And inside there also had ballet. So my mom was like, great, we'll sign you up for ballet as well. Some days I'm at hockey, some days I'm at ballet, but I'm at the same place. And to this day, I'm not even sure my mom knows the real reason why I told her I didn't want to sign up for ballet the next year. But it was because I could not bear having a possible teammate see me in a tutu.
Same reason I quit ballet.
So that lasted a year, or however long that lasted, a few months, and it was nope, I'm right back to hockey. So
Mom's gonna find out first time here. We're gonna bring them breaking news. So yeah, she's not gonna be very happy with it, but that's okay. Hey, you love it. So
yeah, tried the
Yeah.
different sports, and I always found my way back to hockey. So
that's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's crazy you find something like that. I mean, same thing with basketball. I played basketball growing up, and it was like 2 hours in the gym was just cleared your mind. And I played all the other sports and same thing, just kept circling back to basketball. And of course, I'm a 5'10" white guy, so it didn't work out too well. But I had
I
fun.
think it might have worked better in hockey, buddy. I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
Maybe, but I can't skate, so
Because we in the last episode we explained that we cannot do any of the things that you are going to tell us that you can
Yeah.
do.
hey, it's never
So
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I
I
said.
don't
It's
know.
never too late there. Well,
John's
actually,
watched me played softball. I think
Yeah,
he'd say
yeah.
otherwise.
a few years
So-
ago, coaching a House 12U co-ed team, and at nights on, I think it was like Monday nights, we were coaching their parents.
Yeah.
So
You never know.
Well, I am not telling my wife's cousin that because he's like 7 and he can, he's if he's not playing college hockey one day, he's doing something wrong. But
Yeah.
So also, I guess, I mean, I obviously know the history of you guys, but I also want to know more about what position.
I don't. So come on,
that's what I said. That's why we're gonna.
jeez, and the people don't.
I don't know everything either. Okay, Vaughn. I mean, come on now. So yeah, what positions did you play growing up, and what was like your kind of play styles, and who might not know, like because there's different kind of play styles in hockey, obviously. So
Yeah.
And what are the play styles? Because I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm primarily defense. I can be pulled up. I'm versatile, but defense is my home, but very offensive. Always looking for those puck rushes, always looking for those lanes to sneak in and get those shots. So I like to be very offensively productive. But defense, having them come to me is where I'm at.
I played mostly center. I did play defense for a little while and I played wing for a little bit, but I mostly played center and jumped back and forth between defense my last couple years. And I was, very aggressive. Even though I was really small, and I still am small, I was the enforcer on our team. I was somebody that is going to stand up for every girl on our team if something went, the wrong way. And I love to just use my speed. I was somebody that, like Leah said, she liked to rush the puck. If I got the puck on my stick, I didn't stick handle. I wasn't the best at it. I didn't have any crazy good moves, but if I took off and I, started skating on the ice, I could rush it that way. But lots of different styles of play. Some people are very, home defense or home players. They don't really like to, venture outside of their position very much. They're not going to be very aggressive against the puck. On our team, we have a lot of girls that are very aggressive. They're more so our kind of our hard in the boards and hard in the corner girls. Kind of depends, I guess, on how you grow up. I guess I would say a lot of it comes from like probably that first couple years of playing and what the coaches are really teaching you and what sticks, because there's a lot of coaches that will teach very different ways, and I guess it's whatever kind of sticks in that moment when you're impressionable, when you're young.
So we'll kind of not venture, but we're going to bounce back and forth. How does that affect you guys, like coming up with your lines or coming up, like you put 2 or 3 enforcers out there and some people that are going to pass it better and change it up, or is it just, how's that work?
Yeah. Yeah, so I run our forwards mostly and Leo runs our defense, but we come up with everything together. So even though she is more defensive mind and I'm more forward mind, we have to sit there and figure out, like you said, how do we make this line work? And we have, 4 full lines and we have 3 full sets of defense. And it's definitely tricky at times because some of it also is just chemistry between the girls. But we do try to put them with, at least 1 or 2 girls on that line that are going to be that like nitty gritty, really hard pressure. So they cause a lot of chaos. So we call them kind of our, the girls that, like I said, the chaos.
Pests.
They're pests. Yeah. They're annoying, right? No one wants to play against them because they're always all over you.
We got one of those here.
Yeah. So that's what we try to put at least 1 on a line. Sometimes 2, and then we put somebody who is going to be a playmaker, setting other people up, and try and get at least one of the girls also as a goal scorer, a shooter. So it's trying to find a good mix of that, but a lot of that just comes into chemistry because there's some girls that you would think they work really well together. We put them together and we're like, no, this doesn't work. This is awful. We're gonna have to change it up. And I think we're now set with our lines. We're good, but it took us a few times to go through them, and I think we at least changed them once or twice already. And it was a little messy at times, but I think we figured it out now, who works well together. So, but
Yeah, I feel like that's, very important, obviously, because, obviously I'm going to base it off like the Red Wings, right? Like, obviously, when the Red Wings got Patrick Kane,
yeah,
to break it, they are both, like you said, they're know what they're going to do. So it's good that you have that, it's like you want to be friends off the ice also, but you also want to have that chemistry on the ice, even if they like each other all the time sometimes, right? It just happens,
Absolutely.
right? It's just part of life. But but I think it's important to have those, like is Vaughn said, grinders or enforcers or something like that, just because you need girls or guys just being the cause chaos or pests, because I think it's just super important, because then they might turn over the puck in their offensive zone and you might have a scoring chance, So growing up, okay, so also we would say, what would you like more? Did you like more like assisting the puck, or would you rather have the goal? Because you have like Pavel Datsyuk always wanted to drop it off the assist, right? But then you have Alex Ovechkin and Dave Life now that he could just score from it, from his office, as they say, and
right.
So what was your guys' favorite?
Yeah, a goal is always nice every once in a while, but I like to being the person that caused things to happen. So I would say an assist.
Yeah. Now, so my answer, I guess, would be different from when I'm playing now. I want the goal because
I feel like now,
now I really want the goal.
But growing up throughout youth hockey, it was
very assist. We were both playmakers. We set people up. I would always pass before I shot. My dad would get kind of mad at me sometimes. Why didn't you shoot the puck? Why didn't you shoot the puck? Well, I know, so and so has a better shot than me, or I think they have a better shot, and so I always was dishing it to other people. But I loved it because it was like seeing them get excited because they scored. It was so much fun. So
Completely love that too. And I think if I were ever to play hockey, I think I would have to be assist here. Goals are great, but it's like setting up somebody for success is just the
goals
best
all
thing
day, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's why you're an Ovechkin.
So.
Yeah.
I like being the pesty one that annoys people. So I like
so you can
causing
do
things
both.
to happen, and then
You can.
I can do all the work in the world, and then I'll dish it to that one goal scorer, and it's in, and it's great. So
Nope. If I'm doing all the work, my name's going in the book for +1.
That's fair. That's how I feel now. Now I'm like, now that I'm like playing women's league, I gotta get a goal at this point. Come on, like I did all that work. I need something from it. Like this is crazy.
I'm still passionate about my assist. I go up to the scorekeeper's box. Did I get my point on that? Yes. Okay, good.
Oh,
Mom will be like, "Hey man, I got 80 goals but no assists. I don't know what's going on."
That's right.
That's
Just like in NHL. Just like on the video games. Gotta score the goal.
Yep.
Oh, that's funny. So I guess obviously you said talk about growing up was an assist, but now it's goals. But so what was your favorite goal if you could remember in your career? Like obviously there's been a lifespan of games, because how many games do you think you have played in your life? Let's go with that.
Yeah.
My favorite goals are all the ones that contributed to mine and Taylor's competition that I beat her.
Yeah, that was
Awesome.
not
a specific one, but Taylor's dad pinned us against each other, and he said, whoever wins this battle throughout spring season, whoever scores more gets a new stick at the end of spring. And I said, I'm getting that stick.
I didn't score many. I was so mad. My favorite goal, honestly, it'd probably be the one that I actually didn't mean to score. I went to throw it as a pass actually, and I'm pretty sure I like whiffed really bad and it just went through the 5-hole. And I don't know how I did it. It was just a garbage goal. And then the other one was when I jumped and attacked our player. I like literally jumped in her arms after, and she like swung me around in a circle. But it was a lot of fun.
All right, John. So we got a new competition next year in softball. Whoever hits the most home runs gets a new bat. So
There you go.
I always get the new team bet, so don't.
get your checkbook out because I'm beating you.
That's awesome. So I think that's hilarious. I mean, it's cool. Like especially when you do, for our viewers out there, is like when you actually accidentally score, it's probably the best feeling because you're like, that wasn't supposed to happen, but hey, we'll take it.
I've had a few of those in women's league. I definitely did not mean to shoot it on net fully, and it goes. I'm like, I'll take it. I mean, cool.
You'll take it and run with it for sure.
Heck yeah.
So also, I guess I'm guessing because everybody does. Did you have any superstitions growing up? Like you had to dress the exact same. Did you have to eat a meal that was the exact same, or what'd you?
Not really. I wouldn't say I'm not a superstitious person, but I
Just
am
a little stitious.
Yeah.
I'm a routine person. So I'm used to my routines. Okay, I put on a certain skate first, I tie a certain skate first, I do those things. It's not really superstitious that I think something bad is going to happen, but I do it every time. It's just routine at this point. But no, honestly, I could eat anything before a practice or game and I'm fine. As long as I'm fed, I'm good.
I would say I'm a little bit superstitious. I do put on like it has to be the same side first, so I always put on like my skates always go my left side then my right. I don't know if it's more so superstition or just like habit at this point that I've always just kind of done it that way. We used to have like a little ritual before a game. I would do whatever, like he would stand in front of me. I'd do something on Leah's back before I walk out the door, and then I'd tap the front of the door.
A cross.
I'd do a cross. That's what it was. I'd do a cross on Leah's back. I'd tap in the cross, and then I would tap the door as I walk out the door. It was something I don't even know why I started. It was so random. One day I just started it, and because she was standing in front of me, lined up out the door, and I was like, oh, and then I just kind of did it a few times after that, and I kept doing it. It somehow stopped at some point. I don't remember when it stopped, but
we stopped youth hockey.
Right, yeah, probably when we stopped playing youth hockey.
Now that you mention it, I did. There was always me and one of my goalies. We would go to the net. We'd do our little cheer before the game, and before I left, every time we'd always do a little head tap. Every single time. Yeah. So we'd bump foreheads. So I guess I did do that. Yeah. That was, I guess, probably more superstitious, I guess, more than anything. I don't know if I'd call it superstitious, but
some sort of
habit.
Habit.
It was just habit. It was something we did.
Cool.
So
yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I mean, because obviously you all know I played baseball growing up, so of course I'm very superstitious. I have to do everything the same way. If I don't have at least 5 or 6 pieces of gum in my mouth,
yeah.
I'm gonna lose. If I don't have my lucky number on my back, I'm gonna lose. Right. So I just feel like I'm gonna suck. Like there's nothing I can do about it. Yeah. So speaking of which, what was your lucky numbers growing up? Because obviously everyone has something dedicated to like it's like their birthday or a player that they watched growing up or stuff like that. So
yeah, mine was 13. It was Datsuk.
Yeah.
I watched him from a young age. I was like, oh my gosh, he's amazing. And so when it came time to pick numbers, and I actually remember truly picking a number, it was 13 was my top choice. And I think after that was 44. I think it was for Zetterberg, or 40. What was it? 40.
40. Yep.
40. And I didn't really even want that number, to be honest. I just picked it because it was the only other number that I could really think of at the time. And my dad, sends the email across. He's like, you got 13. And I was like, yep, that's the one I actually wanted. Yeah. It was so unlucky. It was lucky is what my brother always said to me. So.
Exactly.
Yep.
I was 10 because of my dad for a while. And then I went to a new team. And the way we picked numbers was they just had all the jerseys hanging up. And we walked into practice one day and they said, pick your jersey, pick one that's hanging.
That's crazy.
And I couldn't have 10. Somebody had 10. And so I just went one up. I went to 11. And I think I was like 10 years old at the time that it happened. And so from like 10 years old on, I was 11 after that. So.
Vaughn, you got anything to add to that?
I don't know. I was always bouncing numbers, so numbers are just numbers.
Yeah.
I get told what to
So,
wear and I wear it. So
Yep.
so as you were saying earlier, Leah, that you almost quit a few times, right? So I was like, what kept you from not, I guess, losing that passion and not maybe quitting, but also keeping that passion as well? Like, how did you like get through it? And then, like Taylor, I mean, I don't know if you ever thought about that, but
Mhm.
just how do you keep that passion and like not get burnt out from all the games that you played? You know?
Yeah.
It was gone. To be short, it was not there. I went to AAA, so Tier 1 hockey, and I played there for a few years. And I needed that family culture. I needed a family team. I needed a healthy environment, and that was not it at that level, even at 12. So at 12, I switched teams. I was playing for arguably the best organization in the state, and I was miserable. And so I changed organizations. And I was there for 2 years until I couldn't take it anymore. And I told my parents I didn't want to play anymore at 14 years old. I said, I'm done. I hate this. I'm miserable. I don't want to play anymore. And they convinced me to go to one more tryout for a different level of hockey. So I went to AA, and they said, you don't have to play. I just want you to at least try and just go to the tryout. And that first tryout, I had one of the coaches come up to me and said, what do I need to do to get you to come here? I was like, I don't know. I need to think about it. So I went home, talked to my parents, and they're like, if you want to quit after this season, I'll let you quit, but I don't. Like, they knew it wasn't the sport that I hated. It was the environment I was in. And so they really pushed me to stick with it. And so I did. And I'm obviously very grateful. That was the team I met Taylor on. So if it wasn't for that,
Taylor, I guess that's really
yeah. So I wouldn't have even met Taylor. Eastern probably wouldn't be a thing. So yeah. So my parents were the biggest factor in keeping me going. They knew it wasn't the sport and that I loved the sport. So that's where that was. And yeah, I found the people I stuck with for the next 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I think
until I aged out.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Until I couldn't play anymore.
Yeah. I think for me, I've never had a horrible experience. I've had obviously not great experiences, things like that happen throughout playing any sport. But I've never had a really bad falling out with it. But it is something that as coaches, we are very big on creating a family first culture. That's our motto. That's what builds us. And it's hard because there are some girls that, we've recruited that were going to quit. That was it for them. If they didn't play college hockey, like they weren't even thinking about it at the time. They were ready to hang up their skates at the end of youth hockey. And for us, we promised them a better environment, right? We promised them a family culture. We promised them to fall back in love with hockey. And I think we've, held our promises. And I think we've, delivered that to them, and they are really happy. And for me, it's seeing that is what keeps me being able to stay passionate about hockey, even when maybe we're not winning, right? And we're losing, and it's like, oh, this sucks. Like, we're not even playing well. But to see them turn around in a different game and be happy and cheering each other on, and see kind of that twinkle in their eye, right? It's like you can just see it in their face. Or during practice when we're doing drills and they're goofing around, they're being silly. That really makes me feel like we're doing the right thing, and it's just something that you just can't get anywhere else.
I think that's awesome. I think
Yeah.
it's important to have that. I feel like in anything, any sport you do, is feel like it's just, it's an individual sport in a way. It's nice to know that you have that family atmosphere, and I feel like that's big. I love the family atmosphere. I know that for sure. So
yeah. So John, I'm gonna. You've been talking a lot. I'll take over for a second, I guess.
no, thank you.
So you obviously you're coaching college now, right? What are the levels? I mean, and how different are they from like men's to women's on like the levels of hockey? Obviously, the men have NHL, but like, is it the same like youth league and developmental stuff and high school, college?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of similarities and a lot of differences, I would say. So for men's, one of the things that women's doesn't have is juniors. So after youth hockey, like 18U when they're done and they're kind of a young adult. They get to go play juniors if they most do play juniors before college, and it gives them kind of that little extra edge to develop and enhance their skills. Continue maybe through the mature process and just get a little bit bigger and stronger and things like that. Where women's doesn't really have that unless you're in Canada. They have what's called U22, which is their juniors. But in the United States, we stop at 19U. So once you're done with high school, you're pretty much either going to play college or you're done, and that's it. Now we fortunately do have a pro women's league, the PWHL. It's still in the process of getting bigger and bigger. It is much bigger than what it was, and there is an opportunity to make a living doing so. Maybe not obviously as much as the men's, and it's still growing, but it's on the rise. It's getting there. So it's definitely a lot of differences in the style of play, I would say, more than the levels. You still have like high level tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, like house and high school. But the biggest difference is you'll notice more girls will play tier 1, especially in Michigan, to try to get to play college, or they'll play like a really high tier 2. We don't really have a ton of high level high school teams just yet. They are still kind of new to Michigan, and we're still building. Whereas like the men's teams have been around for a long time. So you have like a lot of the Catholic Prep League that has really good high school men's teams because they've been around for 20, 30, maybe more years, where the women's teams have only been around maybe for the past 5. So it's definitely a work in progress for high school here. But yeah, I'd say the biggest thing is probably, like I said, the style of play. Like women, we aren't allowed to check besides now in pro league. So up until college, you are not allowed to check. So you have to be really good at making the moves and using your body and speed. Where in men's, you'll watch a lot of games and they can just blow each other up. They don't have to have all that skill. There are skilled players, and it's getting more and more skilled on the men's side. But in the youth hockey scene, I would say there's a lot of just physicality. Not that there isn't in women's. Like I said, I was the enforcer. We did have physicality, but in a very different sense, I would say.
I'm gonna say I was just at an Ohio State women's hockey game, and it was I wouldn't want to get out there. I'll tell you that.
It's definitely physical.
Body contact versus
Right.
a body check.
It's
would
more
be
so
the
about that
difference,
shoulder
yeah.
drop. As soon as we drop our shoulder, we're gonna get in trouble. But as long as we're going straight through them, and we can. It's
Going for the puck.
go for the puck, and if you keep your stick down and you run through them, if they're in your way and you're going for the puck, then that's just too bad. So it's definitely a physical game for sure.
Okay. So
We're
obviously,
going to get you out there. You're actually going to go to Taylor and Leah's practice, and even though you can't skate, you're going to get run
oh
off.
jeez, that's how I popped my shoulder out coaching and getting run into. So I don't think so. I mean, I'll do it for content, but I'm
Oh, that's funny. Vaughn, you got anything else you want to say, or do you want me to keep going?
now I'm scared to go out there. So I guess we'll get into the coaching side of things. Did you guys have a coach or somebody that kind of, I know for me, my JV basketball coach, I was like, this is what I want to do. I want to, he kept that drive in me because I was undersized in school. So I was on the JV team most of my career, and he kept that passion of like, no, keep doing it, keep getting better, keep being a player. So, that translated to me into wanting to coach. Is there somebody for you guys that you guys looked up to and kind of kept your drive for coaching?
Yes and no. I would say, so our last 2 coaches, but especially our last coach, just because we spent so many years with him, he created an environment that we had a voice, that we could voice our opinions, that we could come to them of, hey, I did not like that you did this. And so he did kind of foster that environment that we definitely bring into our coaching now. But I had no interest in coaching. Once I was done with youth hockey, that wasn't a thought, especially with just the way girls hockey was at the time anyway. There was a lot of fallout at the time. There wasn't a ton of girls. There was kind of a few years below us that girls hockey just was not developing anymore. There was a lot of teams folding, things like that. So coaching hockey was never really on my radar until we ended up doing a learn to play. coaching a few years later. So a few years into college, we kind of got sucked into doing Learn to Play, and that kind of snowballed into like Taylor's sister. We did some student coaching on 14U. We got into Big B's 16 and 19U girls travel hockey, and then Eastern, we just decided one day, you know what, we need more women's hockey, we need more college hockey, let's start this program, and the rest is history. Just contact, who do we need to contact to start this club? And they were like, here you go. And
yeah. So I'll go with Taylor's answer, then I want to circle back to that. I'm very interested in that.
Yeah, I would say kind of similar to Leah's, yes and no. Like, I definitely really appreciate our last two coaches. Like, our 16U coach, she was what is it called? Officiant for our wedding, because she was one that brought us together, and that's how we met. And then our coach for 19U, he was a great coach as well and taught me a lot. I think honestly a lot of my coaching came from watching my sister play. She started kind of late playing, and she didn't have the best go of things with coaches and teams. She had a lot of unfortunate events, I will say. That just every time they would ask us to come out, they'd ask myself or me and Leah, hey, can you come out and just, show the girls what, a good pressure looks like, because you're, 4, 5, 6 years older than them, and so we go out and we would help. And there was just a lot of times where I'm like, what are these coaches doing? They're not making sense. They're telling them one thing, then telling them the exact opposite the next second. They're kind of mean to them at times, maybe not mean, but maybe not understanding of a young girl, emotions, right? They are growing and trying to understand them, and maybe they just didn't connect with them on the same level. There's just a lot of things that I was watching that really kind of made me go, maybe I want to kind of get into it, but I don't really know fully if I do. And then we kind of had the opportunity to do Learn to Play and stuff like that. And we did the adult practices, which was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I wasn't fully ready to coach when we first started coaching, to be honest with you. I was still playing myself. We were working 2 jobs. I was not ready to coach, but we needed to do it because they needed us, and that was fine. And I love that we did it. And then, we went to Big B and started coaching, and that was a lot of fun. And there was so much growth. We were a very new program. We were a previous program called Meyer, and they scrapped everything, pretty much fired all the coaches and moved us from Lansing to Ann Arbor. And that's when I actually met the director of hockey there, and they were like, hey, we're looking for more female coaches that are able to bring a different perspective to these girls. And I got into it, and I really loved it. And I loved the connection that I was able to build with the girls and share that passion. So that was kind of the start of it all, really.
Very nice. Yeah. That's go for it, John. Anything?
Oh no, you said you want to circle back, so you
I'll circle back. I'll circle back. It's hard to do it online here. John interrupts me all the time, so I just let him talk. So what was it? What was the process? Just like, hey, we need more women's coaches. Here's Eastern, or was it like, you were there and I guess what was the steps to get a sanctioned team going?
It was, I don't know. It was kind of this, like, because I was going to school there, and once I graduated, I actually got in touch with the men's team. They are no longer, unfortunately, a team, but at the time they were, and I have my cousin's husband played there as well. So I kind of knew of them. I knew that they were a very good team at one point in history, and they've kind of fallen off that wagon, and they were looking to rebuild and all that. So I actually was originally going to go help with them and just jump on the ice and maybe do some skill development, stuff like that, because I was trying to do more coaching. And then pretty much the general manager for their team said, there's a need and want for women's hockey at Eastern. And I said, I know there's a need and want in Michigan. I don't know about technically at Eastern Michigan. Is there enough girls at Eastern Michigan right now to create a team? And he said, well, it's not a bad idea to put out feelers and see. And so from that conversation with him, me and Leah started talking, and
we dragged our feet for a few months.
We dragged our feet for a few months, because we were like, does this make sense at our point in time in our life to do this? This is going to take a lot of time and commitment from us outside of our regular life and jobs. So do we want to do something like this and get this going? We ultimately obviously decided to do it. And from there on, it was me and, like I said, the general manager kind of giving me tips on how to start the program, putting me in contact with the people at the school, our club director there, and talking and saying, hey, I am a former student. I just graduated. I want to start a program here, and how do I do that? And they pretty much just told us, pretty much you just need to have 5 girls on the roster to start the program. Once you do that, you can start and do everything. So what we did immediately was we started reaching out and recruiting, because I knew there was not enough girls, and Leah knew there was not enough girls at Eastern already to create a team. That just wasn't something that no one's going to school at that time for hockey at Eastern. That wasn't a thing.
Like their GM, the men's GM, we were like, what do we need to do first? And he said, post on social media that there's a team.
Yeah, just say that there's going to be a team, that we're starting one.
So the next day, we made our little graphic.
Said, needed players on the team.
Yeah, it was
Eastern women's hockey, and from there it was interest form and reaching out in tournaments and all the things. It was crazy.
And we were very fortunate. We were coaching Bigby, so we were already on the bench watching Tier 1, showcases and tournaments. So it was very easy. I just take out my notepad and write down, I like that girl, and then I go to the coach after game and say, hey, I'm starting a program. Can I get some contact info from you guys? And it was that easy. The hard part was selling them on us, because there was no team. There's nothing established. There's no program. There's no records. There's no history. We haven't won a game. We haven't started a game. And so it was, how do we sell them on myself and Leah? The school sells itself. It's a good school. I don't have to sell the school. But how do I sell me and Leah when we've never coached college, right? And it was all about culture. And it was all about being personable and creating a relationship with the girls and saying, we want you to actually want to be here. And we want you here, right? And once we did that, and we mean it when we say it, and they feel that we mean it, it was a whole change, and that momentum shifted from, this is not going to happen for a long time, to, all right, we're going to do this in less than a year. And most teams take about 4 to 5 years to do that.
Every coach that talked to us, some nicer than others, but all of them would say, it's going to take you 3 to 5 years. And every time Taylor and I would leave those conversations, we'd get in the car and we'd be like, okay.
So we're gonna do this in 1 year. We're gonna do this in 1 year.
That's why I said you guys did it in.
And we did.
Yeah,
we did it in 1 year.
We did it in a year. And it
was hard. It was hard.
The girls bought into us, and they chose us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
And like I said, now you got it, and now you got it going, and hopefully, things will continue to be how they're supposed to be. So, because last year you only had 10 players, right? 10?
Yeah.
That's how do you play with 10 players in hockey like that?
They were gassed, I'll tell you. They
were very well conditioned, I will tell you.
Yeah, it was a good season, and we went 18-0-1, so we went undefeated the whole season. Went to nationals. We won 2 games right off the bat, and we lost to the number 2 team in the nation that was number 2 for the last 4 or 5 years. So I'll take that any day. It was a really good run. The girls were absolutely tired at the end of that 3-game weekend. Their body was just hurting. I mean, they got 2 on the bench for forwards, 1 for defense, and that's it. They don't have many to change. It's whoever's not absolutely collapsed on the ground next to me, please go back out. And if you can't, you're staying out there. There's many times they'd go, I need more time, stay out there, please.
On that note, so lines clearly were not existent.
No.
Whoever my precious legs are, they're going out. Power play, penalty kill, that's not a thing. They just went out.
Fresh.
They knew what our system was, but there was not certain people. There were no special teams.
It was
who's not actively dying on the bench right now. And the first half of the season, the whole first semester, besides 1 game, they played with 7 skaters. So there was 1 forward, 1 D.
She wasn't 18 yet, so you can't play. So
for ACHA hockey, you have to be 18.
Yeah.
But
it was a tough go. I mean, they did really well. It was tough for them physically, mentally.
It killed them as well.
Yeah. It's nice to have 20.
Yeah, I mean, that's like I said, that's just crazy how amazing that, because I was obviously following it last year. I'm like, how are they?
Yeah. I questioned it myself. How are they doing this? Like, man, this is crazy. I had all the confidence that they could, but physically, how's your body able to keep going? Because I think I would be getting sick. I think I would pass out. I don't think I'd be able to do it. And even in my most conditioned state of my life, I don't think I could have done it.
We kind of threw them into the fire, not intentionally either, but that first season, their first game ever was versus a national qualifying team. And they are a very good team. They're a very well-established program. and
Full
we came out-
roster.
full roster, like, and they have two sitting on the we have two sitting on the bench. At one point, third period, we had a girl.
Two.
Well, yeah, so two girls that had skate problems, so they had to get them sharpened, and they weren't out.
So
on
nobody
time,
on the
so we had
bench.
no one on the bench.
For
Five
a
girls
chunk of the
for
third
the first
period.
few minutes, and yeah, it was. They realized like they pulled their goalie in the last minute of the game, and they ended up. I think that was like the light bulb of like we just killed a 6-on-5 at the end of a full 60-minute game with 7 skaters, and that whole game was just. They'd be sitting there gassed. They're beat red in the face, and they'd look down at that one single player. Good job, keep it up. And then 10 seconds later, another girl's changing, and the same thing would happen. The next two girls, they come sit down, they look down at the other end of the bench, and they're like, "Good job, keep it up." And I was like, that's when it like hit.
Yeah.
That, like Taylor and I looked at each other and like, we did this. Like
We did something
Like-
right. I don't know what we did right, but
yeah,
we got the right girls here because the right ones, the ones that were here, if it was anybody else, if it wasn't the attitudes that they had, I don't think it would have been the same season. We probably would have lost a lot. But because there was great attitudes on the bench and they had that, like, we know there is nobody else that's going to step up and save us. We have to do it ourselves. Like, there's no help. This is what we got. So run with it. And if you don't like it, too bad. And they did a great job. So it's nice to have 20, like I said, though.
Yeah, so those practices must have been crazy.
Yeah.
I mean,
There's a lot of like, okay, how the heck can we even run a drill? Like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
even to practice like power plays and
We had to
penalty kills and
jump in.
things. Taylor and I had to jump in because we didn't have enough.
Yeah, it was
So,
crazy. It was
We had
crazy.
just enough with me and Taylor. We had just enough to do a power play and penalty
Yeah.
kill setup. So
Well, if we'd have known last year, we just had Vaughn sit out there for you guys and just
Right. Yeah.
No, that's yeah. I'm sure you guys. So speaking of this year, obviously, you guys have already started and stuff, of course. So how's it going this so far? I've obviously know, but obviously I want people to know. So
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
that's
we've
my-
had a tough competition. We're playing in it's CCWHA. It's our conference in Michigan. It's a very good conference and it's good for our girls, but it's also really hard. We've done, I'd say, very well as a first year D1 program. We're about 50-50 right now for games. We have kept up with some of the harder teams in the nation. We actually just played Niagara over the weekend, who's ranked like number 8 in the nation. And we only lost by 2. So I'll take that because that was a very hard fought game.
it was a 6-4 game. It was a
6-4,
high scoring
yeah.
game.
It was back and forth. Every time I turned around, it was one goal, this goal, and it was just back and forth the whole time. They played really hard. We actually beat the Miami team a couple weeks ago. They are another top 10 team. We beat them 5-2. So it was a really good win there. Day before they did beat us. So it was kind of that back and forth weekend. But they've done a really good job. We've kept most of the games pretty close. There's been a few games where we did not play our game. And that's a lot. It comes down to, I think, we have 11 new girls trying to learn each other and get to know each other. It's tough at times and, we're still learning. And like I said, we're a first year D1 program. So there's a lot of, catching up to do, so to speak, in the sense of we have girls who have never played D1 hockey. And then we have a team that's a lot of seniors that we're playing against who have played for 4 or 5 years. So it's definitely, it's not easy at times, but I think they do a really good job of, handling that pressure and stepping up to the plate, even when, they are like, this team is really good. And, we played Adrian. They are, I think, number 3 last year in the nation, or so, top 5. And it was a really good game. I mean, what was it, like 4-2? Is that
something around
yeah,
there.
something
It
in
was
there.
early.
So it was a good game. But again, it's one of those things of kind of learning as we go and fixing things. And it's always after the weekend, it's always, okay, what can we do better on Monday? How can we do better, this weekend practices and fine tune those little, tiny things that we were messing up with. And yeah, it's been a good season. It's definitely a long season when you have tough teams like that. But luckily they get a little break here. They'll go on their winter break for about 3 weeks ish. This is our last week of practices, and then they come back in the beginning of January, and we have jam-packed schedule again until end of February, and then we got playoffs and hopefully nationals again. So that's the goal, that we can, get back to nationals.
Yeah, I think that's amazing. That, like I said, it's just so I'm guessing obviously then that means you probably have a lot of freshmen because obviously a lot of people
Mhm.
come in and all that stuff. But guess what? They're gonna be if they're already playing so
Right.
good together, like they will. They're already playing good together. They're gonna start
Yeah.
playing great together. And like you said, other teams have had people that have 3 or 4 years together.
Ab-
So like so it's like they already have that chemistry built, and your girls are
Yeah.
still trying to figure it out, which obviously they're figuring it out faster than you thought. So which is
Yeah,
awesome. So
absolutely.
And I think it's tough for our core group, last year's group, to come off of kind of such a high
Yeah.
of a season and kind of coming in. It's like, wow, this is hard. Like,
Yeah. But I mean, we
and
moved up divisions, went from D2
Yeah.
to D1. It's a different division. You're not even
And
playing the same teams,
just
so
like we had last year, I know a lot of it was behind the scenes, a lot of our growing pains that not everybody saw. But this year, I mean, it's right back into it. It's
Mhm.
even more growing pains. You're adding in 11 new players. They've never played on the ice with each other before. They're figuring that out. Now it's how do we integrate 11 new players into our core 9?
Mhm.
And it's been a lot of trial and error, a lot of growing pains, but they're handling it well. They're catching the balls as
Yeah.
it comes. And
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I
definitely
think Vaughn and I are going to try to catch a game next year. Probably. I think
Phew.
that's
Yeah.
what we want to do.
Man, I really thought you were trying to throw me out there again, John.
No. I wasn't going to throw. I'm not going to throw it out there. We're going to throw you out there afterwards, and you're going to see if
There
you
you
can
go.
skate against them
There you go.
after they've already skated for 60 minutes.
They're still beat me. I'll do it, but I'm telling you what, it's not going to be pretty.
We want to come to catch a game because I think it would be just great to see how,
Yeah.
Like I said, I just want to see your guys' coaching
Yeah.
and stuff like that because because speaking of coaching, right, also is that,
Transition.
I mean, you guys already kind of explained it, but like, do you kind of just let your girls do what they did when they were kind of growing up and like you said, and like how, or do you kind of like change them and say, hey, maybe you should try this instead of that? Or do you kind of just let them kind of be like, hey, you do what you do best?
Right.
I think so. They were recruited with very specific roles.
Mhm.
They all are a piece of the puzzle to make the team. I can't have a whole team of goal scorers when none of them are the playmaker, things like that. So they all were brought in with very specific roles, and it was things that we saw while recruiting. So I'd say for the most part, like, we let them do what they do best, but with the fine tuning
Mhm.
and giving them new skills that they can just add to their tool belt and things like that. So different things that we see in practice or in games. Hey, we miss this a lot, or maybe we lose this specific battle a lot. How can we force drills to happen to give you guys another skill set that'll take you in the long run and benefit you in the long run, but without losing their core personalities and
Yeah.
their core roles. I don't expect my stick handling goal scorer person who sits out front of the net really well to be that one that's all of a sudden just doing all the work in the corners and then waiting for somebody else to score. Like, I don't expect
Mhm.
that from her. And I don't expect there's a few girls that we have solely, they are pests. They're going full head of steam into those corners and they're not stopping until they get that puck, they see red, and then they look for their goal scorer that's on their line. And I don't expect them to all of a sudden become a goal scorer. And if they want to be that and they come to us and say, hey, how do I get to be, I want that new role, I want a different
Mhm.
role, I will give them everything I can to change that, but I don't expect that from them. That's
Right.
not what they were brought in for.
Yeah. Our coaching style is very like feedback driven, like especially during games. If you come to a game, you'll hear us. We're very loud. We're usually trying to give them tips and tricks while they're on the ice. So if we see something, because when you're playing in a fast paced sport like that, sometimes you get tunnel vision and it's really hard to see everything around you and see the play develop. So it can be as simple as, I'm yelling like fly, and that's just for them to send the puck up the ice because maybe they don't see the girl, streaking the zone, or whatever. And, we're normally yelling out things, trying to help them out. Sometimes we're yelling out breakouts to try and help them get out of the zone quicker. And then when they get back to the bench, we're really big on trying to give them some sort of feedback, whether it's good, bad, or a combo of that. Hey, I really like that you did this, but maybe I would try this, and give them different ideas so they can actually use it in the game. Because if I wait till our games are like 2 hours long. If I wait till 2 hours later and tell them after the game, they're having, they're not going to have an idea of what I'm even talking about because they're going to forget that it even happened, or it's going to be really hard for them to recall it. And then they can't really change it and utilize it in a true game at that point. So we try to give them in-game feedback the best so we can. Obviously, things get crazy when we get a lot of penalties or we're on the power play a lot. and lines get jumbled and things like that, and it can get a little hectic, but we always try to do our best.
A little sparkle in their eye when they do the tip that you gave them is always really funny.
Yeah.
We made up a drill this week, actually. Yesterday, we made up a drill during practice. It was something that we were struggling with during the games over the weekend, so we kind of made up a drill so we could work on it. Yesterday, I gave one of the girls, hey, try this in this situation. Try this instead. Like just another, again, tool in their toolbox. And she couldn't really get it down yesterday. You could tell she was kind of frustrated about it. She comes today and she did it. And immediately, as soon as she was done with her round, comes running up to me, skating up to me. Oh my God, did you see it? Did you see it? Yes, you did great. Like, and so it's funny to see those, like when they do those little, like little tidbits and things like that they just get so excited. And I think like that's so driving to keep doing what I'm doing too.
Absolutely.
Well, that's gotta feel good too. Like one of those, like, I see, Coach still knows what she's talking about.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
We tell that a lot. We'll say, oh
they
my
heard
gosh,
that this week in action. I'm like,
no.
guys, if you listen to me, I know what I'm talking about.
There's a lot of times they get off the ice, they do something that we did in a practice drill or something I told them, hey, I would try this, and they get off and they're like, they have no idea. Sorry, Cora's trying to get into stuff. But they're like, oh, did you see? And I go, wow, it's like as if I actually know what I'm talking about. That's crazy, They just laugh. They're like, yeah, I know, but it's hard sometimes to, truly change what you're doing if you've done it, especially for so long. And so we never hold it against them when they don't do it, but we're like, if you just did it, I promise it'd make your life easier.
One of the girls came off the bench this weekend. I told her, I think maybe a shift or two before, I was like, stop skating with two hands on your stick. Like, get that hand off your stick. And she's like, was I really? I don't even know I'm doing it. Yeah. Next shift, she comes up. She goes, I heard you yelling at me in my head. And I was like, good.
Yeah, it's hard.
You'll hear that voice for the rest of your life, I promise, because
habits
I still
do. But they're trying to break the habits. That's one thing. College is very hard because they come to you at 18, 19 years old. They have habits established their entire youth career. It is awful trying to break bad habits at this age, but we get there eventually, some way, somehow.
Of course, yeah. No, I think that's just amazing though, that like you said, it's the best feeling in the world when they listen to you and then they're like, oh, Coach, yeah, okay, I guess you're right. Yeah.
The one time I decided to listen.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Vaughn, you got anything to add?
Well, I mean, I guess what is that? That was always my favorite part of coaching is I told you so. But is that what you guys have, or what's your?
We'll do a lot. Like, see, I told you. Like, why didn't you just listen the first time? You did it 5 times wrong, or your way, right? Maybe it's not wrong, but your way 5 times it didn't work. I tell you to do it 5 times. I told you to do it this way. You finally do it. It's like, wow, man, maybe you scored, or maybe you actually got around it.
All of a sudden, it was their idea.
Yeah. They a lot of times like,
yeah, definitely.
I'll let you tell yourself that.
That's fine with me. You can have that. But yeah, it's definitely rewarding when, even if they don't know it's because you said it and they think it's their idea, it's rewarding to see it translate from practice or from the bench when you're talking to them to the actual ice. It's very rewarding to see it happen. You're like, oh, thank God, I'm doing something right.
That's awesome. So speaking of also coaching, what does the future hold for you both? Are you guys going to try to stay as best as possible at Eastern? Obviously, you don't want to, it's hard to leave girls because obviously you see, I'm going to use college football as an example. Like, obviously, people leave jobs and go to a better job, but obviously you started the program. So it would be so hard to actually leave,
Right.
So what, I mean, obviously, I don't think you would ever leave because you love what you do. So, and you're close to home and, you're both close to home. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, our goal is to stay and continue to grow it. Our big lofty goals is to not only grow the club program here as ACHA and Division I and maybe add a Division II at some point and whatever, or maybe we just keep a Division I, but we have kind of that club team that we keep intact. And we grow Eastern women's hockey, but our really big end goal is to add a varsity program. So to create an NCAA D1 program there. And we would love to, oversee that. And we'd love to start that next. That's a much harder, obviously, thing to do. And that takes a lot more collaboration and really just a lot of logistics, money and things like that is the biggest one, obviously. But that is really the end goal. And to do so would be huge because we haven't had an NCAA D1 program in Michigan in a very long time. And the one that was here before was Wayne State, I believe, a long time ago. And they actually unfortunately folded. And so we would love to create one that will hopefully stay for years and years and years, and until we're no longer here. And but yeah, I could never leave just because we did create it. It's our baby at this point. Even if we created an NCAA program, I would love to still oversee the club team with Leah and just kind of make sure it keeps those core values and all those things that we originally created, and just make sure it's running smoothly.
That's awesome. I mean, like seriously, I think it's great what you both have done, obviously, and that you have sacrificed a lot of what you thought, oh gosh, like as you said earlier, like I'm working 2 jobs and I'm like, how am I going to do this? And then then you sacrifice it and you're like,
Right.
this is what I have to do. And
Yeah.
guess what? It's so rewarding, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So anything else, Vaughn, you want to add?
I think it's. I mean, I just think it's awesome what you guys have done. It's kind of what I wanted to do with the podcast, is kind of like the sports that maybe aren't well known, or or for example, a women's team that
Yep.
there's not much publicity about it. Just get it out there, and hopefully somebody sees it and they follow their, even if it's not hockey, follows their goal into whatever they want to do. So it's awesome. I mean,
Yeah, so I mean, starting this program, when we first kind of started this program, like I would come home from working 12-hour shifts and I'd sit down at my laptop and be like, okay, what girl filled out our form, or what team can I start watching some games? I would sit until the moment I went to bed. I would stay up for hours and just sit and watch hockey and reach out to players and all the things. Like, it was another full-time job, but I love it. It was the favorite part of my day. Like, I loved it. And even now, I love being able to, we have morning practices most of the time. And I love starting my day with hockey. How can I be sad going into work when I just got to play hockey? I just got to coach hockey. Like, it's been great. But I always, when we were starting this program, I always kind of kept a quote in the back of my head of, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just need to get it going.
Yeah.
And it's kind of where we're at. And obviously our first season went a lot better than any of us could have expected. But even now, I mean, we're 2 seasons in, we're in a different division. It doesn't have to be perfect. We just need to keep going.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of just where we're at.
Keep building that's what we tell the girls, like, you can never be worse than what you are today. Like, we're always going to be better the next day. Whether we win or lose, it doesn't matter. We have nothing to prove other than just to go out, have fun, and play hard. And if you hate what you're doing, it doesn't matter. Like, they're not going to want to work hard if they hate it. So we want them to love it. We want them to have fun. Yeah, we want to be better. We want to make them better people also. Like, it's so much more than hockey. We tell them, all of our recruits, all of our girls here, like, we want them to be better people when they leave here, not just better hockey players, because hockey can only last so long. Whether you play till you're 80 or you stop after college, whether you want to play pro, it doesn't matter. It eventually does stop. And when it stops, what do you take from me and Leah and from this program and hockey in general that will apply to your regular day life? And it's hard because it's sometimes, trying to teach them to change habits or things that they've picked up along the way that maybe they don't realize is a bad thing, or maybe it's exposing them to things that they're not comfortable with yet, getting them out and doing public speaking and helping the community and things like that. And sometimes it's definitely a big change for a lot of these girls, and it's definitely sometimes a little scary in that, but I think they normally do a really good job of picking it up and trying new things and trying to get out there and just be a better person. So it's definitely rewarding for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think Taylor and I would definitely have not been doing this in high school, because we were not public speakers at all. We were both very, we were both very kind and sweet, and I told that to Vaughn, but I said, obviously, Vaughn knows me now, and he's like, but
I want to be honest, I didn't believe him because I talked to John every day. So
Yeah.
it's nice to see he wasn't lying.
Yeah.
that's who we were as people. But now it's great that, like I said, it's just that, you installed that, and you're going to want to keep installing that. And I think that's important for anybody to have that family aspect of core values and I feel like you guys should make like a list of just, certain things and say, this is what we always want to do. I mean, like you said, yes, you want to win. Who doesn't want to win? But if you're not having fun, why you out here type thing. So
Absolutely.
I think it's great that you push the girls, obviously, to do their best and show them that it's, you're going to get better. Right now, I might be upset at you a little bit, right? Of course, every coach is going to be upset at you a little bit, but guess what? you're always, if you want them to be better, it's not you're like
Yeah.
upset with them actually. You
Right.
know?
That's what we
So,
tell the girls. I'm not upset at you personally. I just don't like maybe the actions that you're showing me or the attitude you show me at times or whatever it may be, right? And we try and tell them like it's nothing personal. If I ever seem upset with you, it's more so not you, it's whatever you're doing. So just don't do that.
exactly. Or anything, Vaughn, you got to add?
No, anything you guys want to plug? Any? I try to give a chance. We had a guy plug a couple things, so we're gonna give a
I
chance
mean,
to
I'd
plug.
love as many people to come out to our games and just enjoy the environment. Just, I think that's the best thing is when the girls look up in the stands and we have, people that aren't family up there. We've been very fortunate. We have anywhere from, I'd say usually anywhere from 50 to 100 fans in the stands. And obviously there's a decent chunk that are parents and family and stuff, but there have been times where, there's random people in our stands from the community. So we love to see it. People come out, support the games. Donations obviously are always great because we're player ran. We are definitely funded through player dues. So that's a great thing that when people come out and come see the games, it's a ticket and that money goes right back into the program to help us fund, bus trips and things like that as well.
Yeah, we'll definitely have like a link underneath the,
Yeah,
like
for
donation slash, like I think there's like a whole link of like the registration forms and everything
Mhm.
that you guys have. And
Yeah.
so I think we'll have that a part
I'm
of
gonna
our
come. I'm gonna
thing.
come scout the goalie. I'm gonna score a goal.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. So put a
Vaughn, what
challenge.
is your
Show your
weakness?
goalie. I'm coming.
I love it.
Yeah, I told you I would do the assist, so we'll see
Yeah.
what I can do.
You
You mean
gotta get me a
I would
good
have to use the
pass,
stick just
John.
to even
Good
keep myself
pass.
up, though.
I don't know, man. I
That's
think
the
I got
problem.
my money's on my goalies.
Yeah, me too.
All right, probably, but I'll get out there. I'll try it.
He's out
I'll do
trying
it. I'll do it. So
I don't
Yeah, I
think there's
love it.
anything else.
challenge initiated.
I like it.
Yeah, we
But-
like to have challenges around here. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good.
So John and I will come out. We'll scout and I'll learn to
Yeah.
skate so I can try to shoot a
There you
puck.
go.
But no, thank you
Well,
guys for coming.
obviously, thank you both for coming. So we will, like I said, have to come out and watch you. So
Absolutely. We appreciate you guys having us on. It means a lot to be able to talk about the girls program and get a little more light on it because it's like you said, Vaughn, it's definitely not talked about usually as much for women's hockey. It's kind of in that back shadow. So it's nice to talk about it and have it out there.
Yeah. Well, John, anything else? Last
I don't
minute.
think there's anything else.
Our great
no.
outros here. It's usually just thanks and talk to you next time.
Awesome.
Thank you.